All right, guys, welcome back. We have a lot of breaking news today, guys. So first of all, Kamala Harris, she obviously took a massive election loss, but now she's like blaming her husband, Doug Emhoff. And let's just say that the marriage is on the rocks, and we're hearing rumors that they're preparing for a divorce.
I got married, became a dad to Cole and Ella. Unfortunately, I went through a divorce. But eventually started worrying about how I would make it all work.
But that's not all, guys. In fact, we got Donald Trump. He's actually speaking at the World Economic Forum. And as he enacts the agenda and cabinet confirmations, now a lot of folks are like wondering, like, what is Donald Trump doing at the World Economic Forum? Isn't that the place where, you know, isn't that the massive meeting that takes place annually in Davos, Switzerland, where all the world leaders get together and they, you know, contrive the plans to take over the world, the Green New Deal and all these other things. 15-minute cities, and, you know, you will no longer eat meat. You will only eat bugs and stuff. Yeah, that very famous meeting is actually taking place, and Donald Trump is actually speaking there. Now, Trump is actually targeting big banks. He's talking about oil prices, drill baby drill, and of course, European regulators. So we got a lot to talk about with regard to that. But one thing that Donald Trump has said so far, at a minimum at this event, at the Davos speech, is that a revolution of common sense has begun. Shout out to Donald Trump for putting America first. Drop an amen in the comments if you support Donald Trump, guys. But guys, this California fire is continuing to get worse. And I don't think that there's enough people talking about this. And so I definitely wanted to give you guys a quick update on that, because it's just so bad over there. And I don't want this to get swept under the rug like oftentimes mainstream media will allow to happen. So for those of you guys who are just now joining us, thanks so much for hitting the like button. Thank you for sharing these videos. You guys really do help us out. It really does help out the channel a ton. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe to the channel. And if you want to further support the channel, there are links in the description down below to join us over on our Patreon to get early access to videos, commercial free, and content that I just can't post here, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so this huge fire is burning through more than 10,000 acres in Castaic. Evacuation, school closures are in place. It's crazy right now. And I mean, look at this. Can you imagine driving down the highway and seeing smoke this dark, this enormous? Like, I would literally think that this is like an apocalyptic scene about to unfold right before our very eyes. Like, it looks like the end of the world is at the end of this highway. Like, does it not? I mean, I personally would probably either stop my car, get off at the nearest exit, and bust a U-turn. There's no way I'd be going down there. Shout out to the truckers out here, because they see all sorts of situations. In fact, the Southeast has experienced a tremendous amount of ice and snow, which is really unusual. In fact, even Florida, I don't know, comment down below where you guys are watching from, but even Florida has seen a tremendous amount of snowfall. And it's like, how is global warming real when you have all of this stuff going on here? You know, it just really makes you question like the validity of that argument. So anyway, let's see here. So we got all these ads. Jesus, come on. How do you get out of here? What is this crap? Whatever. Okay, so this new blaze, which erupted as Southern California battles rampant wildfires. Okay, I'm not even going to try to read this article because these ads keep popping up. Scratch that. See if I can get more information here. So this is a developing story. 31,000 people are currently under evacuation orders under this huge fire, which broke out Wednesday near Castaic Lake and quickly growing to more than 10,000 acres. Guys, what the heck is Governor Gavin Newsom of California needs to be fired? Let me know if you guys agree, because what is really being done? Like, forget like putting the fires out. I don't even know if he's really worried about putting the fires out. Maybe he just wants California to burn. I don't know. But it's like at least contain the fires. Here we are, we're weeks into this thing here, guys. And these fires are continuing to grow. They're continuing to spread. Homes are being consumed. I actually saw, what was her name? Tyra Banks saying that her home had gone up in flames. And I know how, some people are like, well, why is it only the celebrities that are talked about their homes going up in flames? It's not just the celebrities, but if I were to name all the non-celebrities by name, no one would know who they are because they're not famous, right? But the simple fact of the matter is that everyone's homes are going up in flames. And this is probably one of the most costliest fires in the United States history. I mean, think about it. Like it's a massive fire that keeps going, that keeps spreading, and it's spreading in one of the most affluent areas in the country. Like this is like unbelievably horrible. The fire started shortly before 11 a.m. on Lake Hughes Road near Castaic Lake and burned through hundreds of acres within minutes. In the first 3 hours of the fire, 5,000 acres were burned. Can you imagine, guys? In 3 hours, 5,000 acres were burned up. Like, this is just absolutely insane. But let's talk about this Trump meeting that's taking place in Davos, Switzerland, okay? So essentially, Trump celebrated the start of his administration on Thursday, earlier today, while addressing the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, lauding his agenda while taking digs, as we would expect from former President Joe Biden. Like, can Trump get a pass for taking jabs at Biden? I mean, did Biden do such a great job for America that he shouldn't have his record put on display? I mean, is Trump lying? Like, what kills me about some of these mainstream media news outlets is like they get upset that Trump talks about Biden and what he did to America. And well, what's wrong with that? Trump is coming into the tail end of the Biden-Kamala Harris administration. So is it wrong for him to talk about what the previous administration has left him to deal with? You know what I'm saying? Let's not pretend that Joe Biden didn't do the exact same thing. Kamala Harris didn't do the exact same thing when Trump left office. When Joe Biden came in office after the 2020 election, he spent weeks and months, actually like his whole term, talking about what Trump left him with. So I just feel like it's a little bit hypocritical, like that only one party can talk about the other previous party's previous work and what they left them with. That's all I'm saying. So if you guys disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But don't just disagree. Tell me why you disagree with me. If you agree, just tell me, I feel you, Ron. Just anyway.
Reading any paper. My message to every business in the world is very simple. Come make your product in America, and we will give you among the lowest taxes of any nation on earth. We're bringing them down very substantially, even from the original Trump tax cuts. But if you don't make your product in America, which is your prerogative, then very simply you will have to pay a tariff, differing amounts, but a tariff which will direct hundreds of billions of dollars and even trillions of dollars into our treasury to strengthen our economy and pay down debt. Hello.
What great honor. What great honor and pleasure to welcome you back to the Davos community. Just 4 days into your new mandate, we highly appreciate your presence with us today. We wish you all the best as you take on your critical work ahead. The global challenges we face today are monumental. The importance of American leadership and your personal leadership in this regard is fundamental and paramount. We are here to hear your vision and policies related to revitalizing the economy and addressing the global challenges. As you might expect, Mr. President, your return to office and your forthcoming policies have been at the focus of our discussions this week. The discussions among 3,000 political and business leaders from over 130 countries who came together here in Davos. We look forward hearing first from you and then to the follow-up discussion with business leaders, moderated by my colleague Børge Brende. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much, Klaus, and hello to everyone in beautiful Davos. This has been a truly historic week in the United States. 3 days ago, I took the oath of office and we began the golden age of America. The recent presidential election was won by millions of votes, and all seven, every one of them, all seven swing states. It was a massive mandate from the American people like hasn't been seen in many years, and some of the political pundits, even some of my so-called enemies, said it was the most consequential election victory in 129 years. That's quite nice. What the world has witnessed in the past 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense. Our country will soon be stronger, wealthier, and more united than ever before, and the entire planet will be more peaceful and prosperous as a result of this incredible momentum and what we're doing and going to do. My administration is acting with unprecedented speed to fix the disasters we've inherited from a totally inept group of people and to solve every single crisis facing our country. This begins with confronting the economic chaos caused by the failed policies of the last administration. Over the past 4 years, our government racked up $8 trillion in wasteful deficit spending and inflicted nation-wrecking energy restrictions, crippling regulations, and hidden taxes like never before.
So check this out. So Trump vowed this week to usher in a golden age in the United States, immediately issued a flurry of executive orders reshaping the country's immigration and environmental policies, civil rights protections, and federal workforce. Now, what the world has witnessed in the last 72 hours is nothing less than a revolution of common sense, is what Trump told all of the business leaders over at Davos, Switzerland, at the World Economic Forum. Now, this is basically a recap of a lot of Trump's executive orders. He indicated that his administration has accomplished more in less than 4 days since taking office than other administrations have done in 4 years. And let me know if you agree with that one. Trump has done a lot in only like 72 hours. Trump said his administration was tasked with fixing the disasters of Biden's administration, adding that his predecessor had totally lost control of what was going on in our country. Now, a lot of people argue Biden never had control. In fact, a lot of people argue that Biden was never running the country to begin with. So there's that. Now, the president said that he is planning to ask Saudi Arabia and OPEC to bring down the cost of oil, and that once oil prices start falling, he's going to demand that interest rates start dropping immediately. Now, there's going to be a massive wealth transfer taking place over the next 4 years. And I hope folks are ready for this, and that wealth transfer will take place in multiple arenas. That wealth transfer is going to wipe some people out. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. Some people are not going to benefit from this. And those people who don't benefit from this, it's not because they're bad people. I just want to be very clear about this. There are some people who are just not going to benefit from this. They're going to be ruined and they will be wiped out. Not because of their personalities, but in life and when it comes to money, it's about position. And some people are just not in the right position. And basically, economics and money is one big game. Let's just be very clear about this. It's one big game. And if you don't understand the rules of money, and if you don't understand the rules of the game, you will not win the game. And so if you're positioned on the wrong place on the board at the wrong time, when the music stops, you could be wiped out. But at the same time, when you're positioned in the right place, your family tree could literally completely turn around. Your family tree can flourish. Now, if you guys want me to talk more about that, definitely let me know in the comments. We can talk more about that. I do talk more about that offline on other platforms. I left links in the description down below if y'all want to check that out. But seriously, guys, some folks are just going to get wiped out. And, but the smart people are positioning themselves right now. They were positioning themselves over the last several years, but I just want to be clear that it's not too late to do something now. Anyway, so Trump's coming after big oil, and this is freaking huge. This is the World Economic Forum here. We're not going to watch that one, but check this out. So over the last 45 minutes, Trump took aim at European regulators. He said that, they were too tough on U.S. tech companies, oil producers. He said we're keeping prices too high. And he also came after the big banks. He said they were refusing service to conservatives. Interesting. So Trump came in guns a-blazing at the World Economic Forum. Now, on the domestic front, like in terms of U.S. oil, he said from our perspective here at home, Trump's going to be putting pressure on the Federal Reserve over interest rates. And so this is what he's talking about. So, for example, if interest rates go down, we could literally expect, depends on how much they go down, depends on how far interest rates go down. If interest rates go down, you could see mortgage rates dropping. You could see car loans dropping. You could see credit card interest rates theoretically dropping. You could see, basically, if you look at it, car loans and mortgage rates alone, those are some of the largest purchases that Americans make. Now, just think about this for a second. What happened to the real estate market? What happened to the housing market the last time we saw interest rates fall, right? We saw a dramatic increase in demand for homes. Now, at the same time, the housing market, home builders, they weren't building at the rate that they once were because of the pandemic shutdown, right? But one thing that we did see, though, is we saw the demand go up. We saw people running out, buying homes and refinancing their existing homes because they realized that if they had good credit, they could dramatically lower their monthly mortgage payment. People realized that they could buy more house. This is why people were buying bigger, larger, more luxurious, more homes with more amenities in them because they could afford it because interest rates were cheaper. You could borrow money and it would cost you far less per month. And so you could get more for your money. Now, that's a good thing in a way, but the other side of the coin is that sellers, they raise their interest, they raise their prices. Builders, home builders, KB Homes, Ryland Homes, Toll Brothers, they all raised their homes prices because they realized that people could afford more. And because the demand was so high and people were outbidding one another, they literally just kept driving the prices up and up and up and up. Well, now we could very well see something similar to that. So you got to ask yourself, what are you doing to prepare for that, to be on the right side of the market when the market shifts, to be able to profit and walk away with hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially as a result of this shift in the economics that are coming down the pipeline. And so smart people are asking questions and they're positioning themselves now for what could be coming down the pipeline. So this is absolutely huge. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is Kamala Harris. All right. So Kamala Harris is essentially blaming her husband, Doug Emhoff, for her loss of the presidential elections. And basically, Dougie realizes that he might be single before too long.
I got married, became a dad to Cole and Ella. unfortunately went through a divorce, but eventually started worrying about how I would make it all work.
So Kamala Harris is blaming her husband, Doug Emhoff, for her election loss and is considering this guy dead weight. And a lot of people have called this out for a long time, but Kamala Harris, she might have been all smiles after the election, the loss during the election. But see, I think it was very clear that Doug Emhoff there was no value. He offered no value to Kamala Harris, and the baggage that he brought, Kamala Harris, she was bad enough, right? Word salad Kamala Harris, refused to do interviews, refused to speak without a teleprompter. Kamala Harris, she was bad enough just by herself. But what made her so much worse is the husband that she could not hide, Doug Emhoff. This guy has so much baggage. It is unbelievable. So Kamala Harris, after getting destroyed by presidential winner Donald Trump, dropped a report that claimed that she's blaming her husband, Doug Emhoff, for her electoral loss. Now, I can't say that Doug Emhoff should take the full brunt of the blame for her election loss, but he damn sure didn't help her. January 17th, while preparations were underway for Donald Trump's return to the White House, Kamala Harris's staff packed into her ceremonial office to watch her sign the desk, a tradition that was performed by her predecessors for decades. All the while, her husband was seen standing behind her for a photo. And so, quote, "It is not my nature to go quietly into the night." This is what Kamala Harris told reporters. So don't worry about that. I'll keep you posted, is what she's saying. Now, many people blame Joe Biden for running in the first place and then putting Kamala Harris in an impossible position, basically saying that Kamala Harris could have won and she was put in earlier. I don't think so. I think if Kamala Harris was put in earlier, she would simply have had more runway to fail, and there would be more funny memes created out of the additional things that she would have been able to do on camera that we could later make fun of her about. Kamala Harris having more time in front of the camera would not have been a plus for her whatsoever. But some said that she should have sent a more populist message instead of focusing on Trump's anti-democratic threats by campaigning with Liz Cheney, a former Republican congresswoman. She also failed to separate herself from Biden, who remains deeply unpopular with voters. That was a major problem. Kamala Harris was a part of the problem. So Joe Biden's problem was inherently her problem. She was in the White House during the time where Joe Biden was president. And so, all of the problems that Americans were experiencing as a result of Joe Biden's policies, the Biden administration's policies, it makes logical sense that they're going to blame her for that, right? Because what did you do to override the bad decisions that Biden was trying to make? If you're going to try to not take any responsibility for what Biden did to America, you have to come out and say, hey, well, this is what I did, right? And none of that ever happened. All we heard from Kamala Harris was Trump did this, Trump is that, Trump's a dictator, Trump's a Hitler, and all this other stuff, right? That's all we ever heard from her. And so she had nothing to run on. Now that Donald Trump has taken the presidential charge, Kamala Harris is apparently playing the blame game, and her target is her own husband, Doug Emhoff, who she's calling as dead weight. This is like, how low can you go? How low can you go? Now, of course, you got allegations of Doug Emhoff getting knocking up the nanny, getting her pregnant. But now we're hearing rumors that their divorce could be coming down the pipeline. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. We have a lot to share with you guys in the coming days and weeks. And I can already just promise you that these reports, that these updates are going to be coming out a whole lot faster. That's all I can say. Anyway, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one.